I'm going to nitpick the next 5 minutes of your gameplay, and I'm going to compare it to the Witch Doctor that we're looking at here. I want to show you the difference between yourself and the other support, the other position 5 at your level. What we'll see is the Witch Doctor ends up blocking the camps, which makes it so that the Vengeful Spirit can't pull and can't reset the creep wave. Whereas when you pulled, Mirana was able to counter pull, which prevented the lane from moving. The other thing that we see is the Witch Doctor ends up stack pulling, which may or may not work at this level. Sometimes people won't pay attention and won't be pulling or won't come to contest you, but you're away from the lane for a really long time. So it's worth learning to do a half pull instead of the stack pull at this point. Because it's faster, you can deny half the creep wave and then the lane starts pulling back and then you can continue to deny more creeps. But then the other thing is just a single pull, even though it doesn't completely kill the wave, sets you up to be aggressive as the lane bounces back. So it gives your carry more time to farm under tower, and then the lane will bounce back and then you have creep advantage. So if they start trading with you in the creeps, they start tanking damage from the creeps. That gives you an HP lead, which lets you start snowballing the lane. And then you can go back and pull again because they're too low to contest the creeps while it's even near their tower. So what I want you to start doing is at the very beginning of the lane, start trying to deny a creep. And if you can get 1 or 2 denies, that gives you a level lead first. And then as you're about to spike level 2, you start ping the person you want to walk up to. And the enemy is not going to be paying attention to the XP, but because you know you got 2 denies and they haven't denied you, then you can start walking up right as you're about to hit level 2 on maybe the second creep wave, and then you can start casting spells. And if they start trading with you, they're going to die because the creeps are going to be hitting both of you. But you have more HP, you have more armor, you have more magic spell. You don't need to be in the creep wave as a Crystal Maiden because most of your damage comes from your spells, but you ping to let your carry know that you're on the way. The strange thing that the Witch Doctor did was he just left his Void. It seemed to work out because Void was getting solo XP and they were pushing the lane under their tower, so it might be worth trying, but it's not correct because the Vengeful Spirit or Bristleback could just start pulling the lane and then they could completely zone them off of XP. So I don't understand why Witch Doctor decided to TP to the Mirana, but they started getting kills. The only nitpick I have about the Witch Doctor using his spells and this gank and this tri-laning thing is the Witch Doctor was out of position, and it was only by a little bit. But the problem is he can't cast his spells and he needs to be the one to set up. You can see this cast range for his cask is just outside of the Medusa or just outside of the range creeps, and then Mirana's waiting and waiting and waiting, and then the Medusa walks up and Witch Doctor is maybe in range to cast but isn't sure. He doesn't ping, he doesn't do anything to say, hey, I'm going to cast spells on this guy, get ready, and then he walks away. It's not very far, but he's just outside of cast range, and now he can't stun, and then Mirana's just like, screw this, and throws a random arrow that Medusa sees and dodges. But if Medusa had been stunned, even just for a little bit, she wouldn't have been able to dodge. And that's the difference. For you, as a Crystal Maiden, you have a setup in your slow, and you also have a root, which prevents people from auto-attacking. So what you want is to start slowing people, and that's a nuke, which gives them an HP lead. So if your carry and their offlaner are trading and you nuke, your carry will have an HP lead and they'll finish the enemy before anything happens. So if they were to continue to trade, your carry is going to come out on top. It might not always work, but it depends on where the enemy support is. Vision kind of helps with that, but if you are proactive about using your spells and the enemy position 4 is just like, this is boring, and starts walking around trying to look for maybe pulls or some other stuff, then you come into this situation where you can 2v1 somebody. And again, with that Witch Doctor, he was just slightly out of position and couldn't cast his spells immediately. If you are in position where you can cast your spells, your carry can cast their spells on the same person, even if their position 4 is still there, them having to walk up and wait a second to help means that you can get more damage off, and then you can just back off as soon as it's a 2v2. What I want to see from you is using your slow first and your nuke before you start using your root, because you can still attack people as they're walking away from you, and using your root first means it is not available to stop them from auto-attacking, it's not available to stop them from TPing, it's not there to catch up so that you can start using more spells. So if you had just used your slow and your nuke, and Medusa started hitting him, then he can't run away, and then if he tries to run away when the effect wears off, Medusa can still hit him with the snake, and then if Medusa is not in range, then you can still use your root. And at some point, people will start to realize, hey, I can't actually win this trade. Then you can start rooting as they TP. What I want you to start looking for is windows of opportunity where you are level 2 before the opponents, where you're level 3 before your opponents hit level 3, and sure, they're going to hit level 3 eventually, but if you start pushing these windows earlier, there's going to be situations where you're level 8 where they're level 6, and we can see that at the very end, where Faceless Void is level 8 and your Medusa is level 6, and you're still level 5, because the Witch Doctor just left the Void alone. It shouldn't have been that way, because your offlane should have been able to pull the camps, but Witch Doctor had blocked the camps with the sentry, and apparently nobody at this level understands how to unblock a camp, or it takes them way too long to unblock. So if you start the lane with just blocking, you can use a sentry, you can use your body, it doesn't matter, just block the camp, and then harass, and then pull, and then you get a level lead because you can zone them off after you've pulled, and then the lane is over for them.